The sun hung low over the sleepy town of Evergreen, casting long shadows across the kindergarten playground. Laughter echoed from the swings and slides, where a dozen 5-year-olds chased each other in a game of tag. Miss Harper, their teacher, watched from a bench, sipping coffee and scrolling through her phone. It was a perfect autumn afternoon. Until it wasn't. From the edge of the woods bordering the playground, a massive black bear emerged. Its fur was matted with dirt and leaves, eyes wild with hunger after a failed hunt. The children froze as the beast lumbered forward, its paws thudding against the mulch. Little Tommy, a curly-haired boy with a gap-toothed grin, was closest. He turned, his eyes widening in confusion rather than fear. "Bear?" he whispered, as if it were a character from one of his storybooks. The bear charged with a guttural roar that shattered the air. Miss Harper screamed, dropping her cup, but it was too late. The animal's jaws clamped down on Tommy's small arm, crushing bone and tearing flesh in a spray of blood. The boy shrieked, a high-pitched wail that pierced the playground like a siren. The other children scattered, crying for their mothers, as the bear shook Tommy like a rag doll. Its claws raked across his chest, ripping through his dinosaur t-shirt and exposing ribs in jagged, bloody strips. Miss Harper rushed forward, waving her arms, but the bear swatted her aside with a casual paw, sending her tumbling into the sandbox with a broken arm. Tommy's screams turned to gurgles as the bear bit into his throat, silencing him forever. With a limp body dangling from its maw, the bear dragged him toward the woods, leaving a smeared trail of crimson on the grass. The playground fell silent, except for the distant wails of sirens. Deep in the forest, under the canopy of pines, the bear feasted. It tore into Tommy's soft belly first, devouring organs with wet, smacking sounds. Bones cracked under its powerful jaws, and by nightfall, little remained but scattered scraps, evidence of nature's indifferent cruelty. What's up, guys and gals? Iceman here. Welcome to Horrors of the North. This is my new YouTube channel, so like this video and subscribe to this page. These are the best horror bear attack videos on YouTube. So let's get into it. You have no idea what is about to come. Far from Evergreen's tragedy, in the wild expanse near Yellowstone National Park, Kayla lived her dream. At 28, she traded her corporate job for van life, converting a rusty Sprinter into a cozy mobile home. Parked in a secluded spot off a dirt road, surrounded by towering evergreens and the distant rumble of geysers, she embraced freedom. Her days were a blur of adventure, hiking trails at dawn, skinny dipping in hidden hot springs, and documenting it all for her growing TikTok following. Kayla was a vision. Long blonde hair tied in a ponytail, toned body from endless workouts, and a smile that lit up her videos. Her content was a mix of van hacks, scenic views, and fitness routines that drew thousands of likes. But her nights were wilder. She had a knack for attracting men, hikers, rangers, tourists passing through. They'd spot her at a trailhead or a roadside bar, drawn by her easy laugh and confident swagger. "Come see my setup," she'd say with a wink, leading them back to the van. Inside, fairy lights twinkled over a queen-sized bed piled with blankets. Music played softly from her Bluetooth speaker as she poured cheap wine. Clothes came off quickly, hands exploring, bodies entwining in the cramped space. One night it was Jake, a bearded backpacker who pinned her against the counter, their moans echoing into the wilderness. Another time, it was Mike, a local mechanic, who took her from behind while she clutched the steering wheel. Kayla loved variety, the thrill of new skin against hers, the way they whispered compliments about her curves. No strings, just sweat and satisfaction before she sent them away at dawn. Safe travels, she'd call, already planning her next post. Her TikTok blew up with workout videos. Van Life Fitness Challenge, she'd caption, filming herself in sport bras and leggings that hugged her athletic frame. Squats by the campfire, planks on the van's roof. Her followers ate it up, especially the men who commented thirstily. Kayla didn't mind. It boosted her views. One crisp morning, she set up her phone on a tripod outside the van, angling it low to capture her form. The camera pointed squarely at her butt, clad in tight black shorts that accentuated the hefty chunks she'd built through years of training. "Burpee day, guys. Let's crush it," she said to the lens, starting her routine. Up and down she went. Jump, squat, push-up, repeat. Sweat beaded on her skin, her breaths coming in rhythmic puffs. The forest was alive around her. Birds chirping, leaves rustling in the breeze. But deeper in the woods, something stirred. A grizzly bear, massive and scarred from territorial fights, caught her scent. It had been foraging for berries, but human smells, sweat, lotion, the faint trace of last night's lover, drew it closer. Hunger gnawed at its belly. Winter was coming and food was scarce. Kayla was mid-burpee, ass in the air, when the grizzly exploded from the trees. Branches snapped like gunfire as the 800-pound beast charged, its roar shaking the ground. She spun at the sound, eyes wide in terror. "Oh God, no!" she gasped. But there was no time. The grizzly collided with her like a freight train, its shoulder slamming into her midsection. Ribs cracked audibly. Air whooshed from her lungs as she flew backward, tumbling into the dirt. Adrenaline surged. Kayla fought like hell, scrambling to her feet despite the pain. She grabbed a nearby stick, pathetic against the monster, and swung it wildly. "Get away! Get away!" she screamed, jabbing at its snout. The bear reared up on hind legs, towering over her at nearly 8 feet. Its paws, each the size of dinner plates, with claws like scythes, swiped through the air. One connected with her arm, shredding muscle and sending blood arcing. She punched its face, her fists sinking into fur, but it was futile. The grizzly lunged, jaws snapping inches from her throat. Kayla kicked and clawed, nails raking its eyes, drawing a bellow of rage. For a moment, she thought she might escape, darting toward the van, fumbling for the door. But the bear was faster. It pounced, front paws pinning her shoulders to the ground. She thrashed beneath it, legs kicking uselessly, screams turning into sobs. The animal's hot breath washed over her face, reeking of decay. With a final devastating swipe, its massive paw connected with her neck. Claws tore through flesh and bone in a single brutal motion. Her head separated from her body in a fountain of blood, rolling to a stop near the tripod, eyes still open in shock. The grizzly wasted no time. It nosed at her decapitated form, the scent of fresh meat overwhelming. Starting with the exposed thighs, it bit into the muscle she'd so proudly displayed. Jaws clamped down on her butt, ripping hefty chunks of flesh. Glutes built from countless squats, now reduced to sustenance. Blood pooled around the van as the bear gorged, tearing strips with wet, ripping sounds. The phone, still recording, captured the horror. The beast's grunts, the crunch of bone, until the battery died hours later.